bad spending habits, man. Terrible spending habits that y'all need to look out for in this video. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you guys are new, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Really does help the channel grow. Join the family. I appreciate y'all. Let's get into it.
What's the worst financial decision you ever made in your life?
The worst financial decision I made was I bought a real expensive car and I didn't even have a house. People, do not spend more than $80,000 on a car and you don't even have a house, because the car depreciates the moment you take it off the lot. Invest in stocks, invest in real estate, save your money. That's how you do it. That was my worst decision.
Okay, what car was this?
It was a Dodge something. I can't even remember what
Like
it was.
a Charger?
Yeah, it was like something like that. Yeah, real expensive car, wasn't worth it, bad investment.
Okay. And then what's the best piece of finance advice you ever gotten before?
I think the best piece of finance advice, number one, learn how to balance basically your finances. Very important. Don't spend more than you make. As a matter of fact, every time you get your paycheck, at least take 1/3 of it and put it aside. Very important.
Oh, okay. And then last question. Hypothetically, if I were to give you $100,000, what would you do with it?
If you gave me $100,000, I would be trying to either put it into an annuity. I would try to invest maybe in real estate, and I would probably invest some of it in maybe stock, something like that,
Okay.
like Apple or Amazon, something that I think is going to give me a really good return.
Okay, are you currently invested in anything right now?
So currently, I do have a brokerage account. I do have a 401k, savings. Basically, my plan right now is I want to be able to retire by the age of like 50. That's the goal.
Okay.
I've never heard anything like that, bro. Why would you ever spend $80,000 on a vehicle when you don't even have a home? Like, are you sleeping in your car? At least he learned from his lesson, bro. That's one thing about finances. Like, it's never too late to learn and switch your spending habits. But spending $80,000 on a vehicle, especially if you know you ain't got it and you don't have a place to live, like, where are your priorities at? But a lot of people need to understand that, bro. Don't choose a car over a house. You need a house. You need some place to lay your head. $80,000 on a vehicle when you know damn well you can't afford it is absolutely unacceptable. But the dude seems like he's very, very smart and has a lot of wisdom, because at the end he's sharing what he would do if he got the $100,000, and he seems like he's learned a lot. And he's improving, it seems like, because he was giving some really, really dope advice at the end about his spending habits and what he's done to change his life a little bit now. But $80,000 on a vehicle is just absurd, bro. Absolutely absurd.
If there is one financial regret I have in my almost 30 years of living, it would be spending $30,000 on a wedding. The wedding industry has all of us girlies in a chokehold, making us feel like we need to prove something to everyone around us and have this massive, expensive, beautiful wedding. I fell under that and became brainwashed and went from eloping and having something casual and under 5K to having this 30K wedding in San Francisco with only 50 people. At the end of the day, I look back at this and I think about how much of that money I could have used for something so much more valuable, like a honeymoon, investing, paying for our businesses that we're trying to grow, anything. I know it's wedding season right now, and I just want to put this out into the universe, and if you're seeing this, it's probably a sign. If your wedding planning isn't about you and your spouse and it's about everybody else, don't do it. Just elope and save their money.
That's one thing I say, man. Weddings, bro. The reason why people spend so much on weddings, these crazy amounts on weddings, if you think about it, in reality, when you have a wedding, who are you having that wedding for? When you have like a big wedding, besides your family and stuff like that, who are you having that wedding for? You're having it for your guests. So most of the time in today's society, people don't even have weddings just because they are two couples that want to get married and that love each other. Most of the time when we have these big, lavish, crazy weddings, because we're doing it for social media, we're doing it for people to see what type of wedding. It's like a competition on who can throw like the best wedding or who can throw the best ceremony. Like, bro, that's not a good setup. You don't want to be in a financial hole taking out loans. $30,000 on a wedding for one day. Imagine spending $30,000, $40,000 in one day. One day that you're probably gonna forget. Like, you know what I mean? You got to think about that when you're putting together and you're wedding planning. For all the young people out there, and this is me included because I'm 28 and I have hopes of getting married someday. You know what I mean? When you're making that decision, bro, really think about it. Why are you spending $30,000-$40,000 on a wedding? Is it because you two really love each other and you guys think that this wedding is gonna be what's gonna make your relationship great? Or are you just spending $30,000 because you want people to see that you're gonna have a great wedding? Your wedding, the type of ceremony you have doesn't determine how long your relationship lasts. It doesn't determine how great your relationship is. If you can afford it, you know, by any means, you're a millionaire and you got that type of money, you know, so be it, great. But if you and your partner both know y'all can't afford a $30,000-$40,000 weddings, why do you care about your guests? Why do you need to show out? Social media, I think, is the main reason why people have these terrible spending habits, because you log on and you see everybody just spending, and we're just consumers, bro. We don't even question sometimes on why we spend some of the money that we spend. We just do it because it's just a habit. We just see other people doing it, so it's just okay to do it. But bro, if you're planning on getting married, any young people out there, just have a small gathering, especially if you can't afford it. A wedding is supposed to be something intimate between you and your partner, something you're supposed to remember. Don't throw a big old wedding because you want to see, because you're doing it for guests. Do it for each other. Have something small. You're gonna remember that small, intimate thing more than that $30,000-$40,000, because all you're gonna remember is that price tag that you spent.
This is why you're purchasing $1,669 on there. Why? This is the bad card. We know this is the bad card. So why so much money being spent on here, dude?
So I
Why
have used it for all of my medical stuff.
Oh, a Navy Federal credit card? We're not even negotiating with the hospitals for a payment plan?
Well,
even a personal loan at like 10 or 12%? Why not?
It's not really hospitals. It's like psych offices.
Is that the SPRAVATO?
Spravato, yeah.
Okay.
Which I think I should be able to stop.
What's your health insurance like? Have you not hit your deductible this year yet?
I hit my deductible.
No, you. Oh, come on! Shut up! That's not even true. You got some stupid little and pizza and hot pot and honey pat.
Yeah, I said historically.
Oh, you're historic. Historically, I'm getting by this statement.
I'm not even gonna sit here and act like I didn't used to have bad spending habits when it came down to food, bro. I love food, bro. Me and food go together like this, bro. If you guys were to look at my statements like back a couple months ago, maybe even a year ago, and you just see everything on my bank statement, bro, it's just like food, drinks, juice. Obviously, I don't drink alcohol, but like, bro, food is one of the biggest things that robs people of like wealth and like savings and like money. Like, it's good to spend money on food. Obviously, we need food to stay alive and function as human beings. But it's like when you're constantly going out to McDonald's, you're going out to Burger King, you're going out to, you know, fancy restaurants, and you're always constantly ordering DoorDash, bro. All that stuff adds up. Like, if you look at your bank statements and you just go through it, and that's what I did one time. I just sat down and just started writing down and budgeting and seeing what I'm spending money on, and I was disgusted by how much money I was spending on food, bro. It's literally close to like $300 to $400 per month just on food. Like, it was bad, so bad, bro. Like, I was like, this is just so disgusting. And that's when I started to budget. You know, obviously, I'm still getting better, and I try to cook at home. I'm not the greatest cook, but I do try. But it's like spending money on food is one of the biggest, I feel like, robbers of like wealth. Food and cars and car payments and housing payments. Like, you have to be able to understand how much money that you're making and how much money income you have and how much you're spending, because every time you go out and you're spending money on clothes, on a car, whatever the case may be, you have to think about it as in like time. Anytime you spend money, you have to act like you are spending time. So let's say you're making like $18 an hour, right? And you go to the store and you buy something. Let's say you buy like a shirt that's like $18. It's going to take you a whole hour of work in order to earn that $18 back. Like, think about it. When you go out to eat and you're spending $30-$40 on a meal, just one meal, and you're only getting paid $18, you literally have to work like 2 hours to earn that money back. Instead, if you just like cooked at home and you just made like a $5 meal or whatever the case may be, and you just bought groceries, you're saving so much money. So I feel like one of the biggest things is if you have to change your mindset into like when you're spending money on stuff or like items, especially things that you don't need, like housing, obviously, and stuff like that you need, like rent, whatever the case may be. But it's like when you're spending money on like things you don't need, just think about it as how much time will I need to spend to earn this money back? When you're buying that $18 t-shirt, that $300 whatever the case may be bag, like you're gonna have to work how many hours to earn that back, and then you'll truly understand how important money is, because money's time, bro. Like you're spending your time. You're spending your time when you pay for things. Like you're gonna have to go back and earn that. So that's one thing I like to like tell people, is just like when you're spending, just think about how much time you're gonna take in order to earn that money back, and that'll kind of help you like motivate you a little bit and just like kind of stop you from overspending. But budgeting helps too. But definitely think of it as in like that time, like how much time will I have to work in order to earn that thing back?
What are some of the worst spending habits you've ever seen?
Easy. It's always the same two things: housing and cars. Always. Americans love housing and cars, and they make the biggest financial mistakes with those two categories. Number one, housing, they overspend dramatically on, because in their religion, which is housing, they have a very simple way of looking at the world. It's simple, almost childlike. I need to own because housing always goes up. So therefore, I'm going to own. It's as simple as that. They don't care to know about interest or phantom costs or anything. It's just, I'm going to buy a house, it's going to go up, and I'm therefore going to be rich. Huge mistake. And that's number one. Number two is cars. Oh my God. Americans love cars, and it shows up in peculiar ways. The minute they have kids, what's the first thing they do? They go, I need to go buy a 7-seat SUV because I have a baby. And I also need to buy a house with a backyard for the baby. And so we transfer all of our anxieties to our baby. Huge mistake. When I see couples that fight about things like, I can't believe you spent that much on energy drinks at the gas station, I already know it's never about the energy drinks. It's not about Target. It's not about eating out. It is that they are spending too much on their housing and cars. There's nothing left over. And yet they don't know that. They can't make the connection. So they fight about how much they ate out and spent on appetizers.
Yeah, guys, man, the thing I would say is like buying a house, I'm not going to say is not important. Obviously, buying a house is very, very important. And someday I want to be able to buy a house and own a house. Like, it's very, very important. But with that being said, bro, you truly need to understand, like, can you afford to buy a house? Like, that's like the number one thing, because at the end of the day, you have to understand, like, your peace of mind is important. Especially when you're, when you have to think about, okay, if I'm renting right now and I'm paying only $1,200 or $1,300 in rent, and if I go buy a house, you're binded to that house. And then not only are you just paying for the house, that mortgage, you're also paying interest on top of that. And so when you're going out and buying a house and you're buying a car, you truly have to understand, do I have my finances together? So with that being said, like, do I have an emergency savings account? How much income am I making, per year? Is the house I'm buying affordable? Is the car I'm buying affordable? And then is there any other debt that I have that I'm stacking on top? Because many people love to stack debt, bro. They love to stack student debt. So you're coming out of school and you have probably like $80,000 to $100,000 in school debt. Then you want to buy a $200,000 house. Then you want to buy a $80,000 house, bro. You're never going to see any sort of wealth. You are going to be on payment plans and paying interest for the rest of your life. Literally, like you're never going to stop working. That's why when I go to like Walmart and I go to the grocery stores, and I'm not saying it's bad to work when you're getting older, it's fine. But it's like when I'm seeing these older people in their 60s and their 80s and their 90s still working, I just think like, are they working because they choose to work, or are they working because they made some bad financial decisions? Like, you should be earning money now and, saving up money to retire someday and live comfortably. So, and the way you can do that is by watching your spending now. If you can't afford to buy a house, bro, it's okay. Not everybody has to own a house. You can rent for the rest of your life and just be just fine. You don't have to buy the fanciest car. You can drive a 2012 car, a 2016 car, and be just fine, bro. You don't have to drive a 2025 vehicle. You don't need that. You don't need to own a house. That's the American dream. The American dream, bro. They're selling you this dream, but all they're doing is putting you on interest loans and payments, and they want you to be stuck in there so you can work for the rest of your life. That's what they want you to do. Work for the rest of your life till you die. And even then, dying is expensive too. So you can't even afford to die. Can't afford to live, and you can't afford to die. That's the type of world we live in, bro. Isn't it crazy? So with that being said, bro, just if you're gonna buy a car, anybody looking to buy a car, buy a house, bro, first think, do I have enough money saved up for those emergencies? Because when you buy a home, emergencies always come up. When you buy a car, emergencies always come up. Like, those are always gonna exist. So make sure you're making those decisions and understand where your income is and where your budget is at. You know what I'm saying?
Story time about one of the worst financial decisions I've ever made. Disclaimer, this is not bashing anyone, okay? No one. I have no hard feelings, no hate, no drama. From 2020 to 2022, I was an online fitness coach, and I had a full-blown business. I had employees, I had an assistant coach. At one point, we probably had like 70 clients, and I loved it. I loved it so much, but there was always this pressure to quote-unquote invest in yourself and invest in your business, which I do not disagree with, okay? The more advanced you get in your business, the more you are encouraged to invest and the more expensive it gets. So I decided to spend, I'm cringing saying this, $7,000 on a business coach. And that was discounted. And it did absolutely nothing for me. So at the point of investing in this coach, my business was kind of slowing down and I really needed help with just picking it back up, and I wanted to get to the point where I could not have to do the sales part anymore. So that was my end goal, was I really wanted to outsource the sales portion of the coaching. I really wanted to do just the social media and coach my few clients that I had. And that business coach really didn't do anything for me at all. Like, looking back, I really don't remember making any moves with her at all about anything. She told me I needed to go to therapy, and that's about it. And the fact that I spent $7,000 on that could have been a down payment for a car. That could have been in my savings for my future house that I am saving for right now. The amount of regret that I have in spending that much money for a business that I'm not even doing anymore actively, I regret it so much. It was by far my worst financial decision I've ever made.
First of all, I'm gonna say, like, the thing is, investing in like somebody that can help you in your life is not terrible. Like, she invested in a financial coach or a business coach. Like, I don't think her going out and doing that is a bad idea. I think the only thing she messed up is she didn't do her research. Because, like, for example, I own a home healthcare agency. And when I first started my agency or my business, which I started in October 2024, I worked with a consultant. So I worked with this lady that basically helped me put my business together. And the thing is, before I worked with this person, I did my research. Me and my business partner that I'm working with, we did our research on that person, and we paid close to $4,000 in order to get one-on-one coaching with her for about a month in order to build our business and officially start our business. And so that was probably one of the best financial decisions I ever made in my life, because I was investing, first of all, in myself, because I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, you know, start my own business and you know, create wealth for my family. And then two, you know, I invested in something I care about. You know what I mean? Like, I did my research and I invested in something I care about that I know is going to make me money. And so the most important thing is, I don't think she messed up by going and investing in herself and in the business and going and investing in a consultant. The thing that she did wrong is I don't think she did enough research on that person or on that business coach that she was looking for. Because I always tell people, bro, the number one thing, the number one best investment, if you want to make any sort of investment that you want to make, is invest in yourself, invest in your education, invest in your growth, invest in your future, whether it's reading books, buying courses, you know, going to coaches. As long as you are investing in things that you know are going to work. That's why it's so important to do your research, because you don't want to get scammed, bro. People are getting scammed out here. It's terrible. There's so many scammers out here now in this world. It's just absolutely terrible. So I know she said that was like one of the worst financial decisions she made. Me, I don't think it was a bad financial decision, because she was trying to better herself. It's just she was talking to the wrong person and she didn't get the right information. But I think what she was trying to do is invest in her business and invest in herself, and that's never a bad investment. You know, trying to grow yourself mentally, trying to grow your business, whatever the case may be, that's never a bad investment. It's just you might have just invested in the wrong person at that time. But yeah, bro, if you guys have bad spending habits, man, really just sit down, look at your budget, and just see where you want to go. Don't just be out there spending money blindly, bro. And I still have bad spending habits to this day. I'm not gonna sit down here like I'm a perfect or I'm an angel. That's why I make these videos, so I can share with you guys some of my stories, and hopefully you guys share some of the stories that you guys have of some of the bad spending habits and how you guys kind of overcame them. So if you guys really enjoyed this video, one thing I'll ask is just hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It really does help the channel grow, and it also spreads, you know, this channel to other people that really need this information as well. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.